We are now live. Welcome to Live with Marcel and Kilani, and we have a very special guest today. Kilani, would you like to do the introductions?
Absolutely. And thank you everyone for being back here. We're really excited to be back with another episode and another amazing guest. As always, let us know in the comments where you're tuning in from and let us know if you're watching this live or if you're joining us for the replay. So Furkan is a serial techpreneur with 13 plus years of experience. He is the CEO and founder of InvoZone, which is a reputable software and web app development company that has a global presence and 500 plus headcount. He has two other vertical Invo Games, which specialize in game development, and Invo Blocks for blockchain development. He has launched innovative products such as Invo Chat, InvoCom, Invo Desk, Invo ERP, and how do I pronounce that? QuickXI? I'm going to ask
It's
for
Quick Z. Yeah, it's Quick Z.
Awesome, which have been well received by clients worldwide. So welcome to the show, Furkan. We're excited to have you.
Thank you so very much for having me today and having an amazing warm welcome with detailed introduction, Kilani.
Of course. And for our viewers, we know we've spread this all over the place, but our topic today is going to be about turning opportunity into reality. And Furkan has a really amazing story of how he's done that in his life. So we're excited to bring that to light and to life in this episode. So as always, if you have any questions or comments as we're going through our conversation, definitely leave them in the chat and we will bring them up on the screen and have a live conversation around them. But just to get us started, we have a couple of questions for Khan. First things first, could you tell us a little bit about your story, about how you got started in all of this?
All right. Whenever I have to start about my story, I start from little back in my past. I was born and raised in a very small village in Pakistan. Like Pakistan itself is a kind of I can say underdevelopment or poorly developed country, if I can call it, because there are a lot of room to develop there in Pakistan specifically. So that side of the world, and not only Pakistan, but the least developed area of a small village. That's where I was born, and I was born in a family where financial capacity was not that big. We are like kind of seven siblings, and my father's job was not able to fulfill all those educational matters and all that all there are seven people and seven kids going to school or college, and their fees, their books, their uniforms, and other expenses. So this was very hard for my father to kind of manage all those expenses. So I by by some means I was able to get some education to reach the university. So when I was going to touch the university for the Bachelor of Science in Computer Science, I was not having enough funds for my degree to sponsor. Luckily, I got scholarship from the university. Otherwise, I was not going to be present here today because I was not financially well. My family was not able to sponsor my degree. I was not able to go into the university. In Pakistan or in the Southeast Asia or East Asia, the universities are crazily expensive, and it's hard to get into university. You cannot get any sort of discount or waiver on the cost. Luckily, there was a government scholarship that I was able to secure. Kind of 5,000 people appear for that scholarship, and I was able to secure that because of somehow I was under an impression when I got to know about that scholarship. I got to know that I felt that this is the only life savior for me. If I can kind of get onto the merit for this scholarship, I can go to the university. That's the only option, only way. So when you have that, there's a do or die. Then that's the way you go forward. And I started struggling and hustling for that scholarship to kind of achieve, and eventually I was able to do that. So once I went to the university, though it was fully funded scholarship, but I was kind of still eager to start doing something quite quickly, quite easily. And the degree was, for 4 years. Right after 2 years of the degree, I started having a full-time job in the evening, and I was pursuing my degree in the morning hours, from morning till afternoon, and afternoon till midnight. I was trying to, have a full-time job in a local software company in Pakistan. That is exactly where I started kind of understanding that there are a lot of potential, a lot of opportunities around me, that there are a lot of things I can do in my life. And I started collecting a lot of notes for the time when I am going to be a point in my life where I can start exploring those opportunities. And in 2014, right after 4 years of starting my job, I was I started feeling that I'm ready to go into my first venture. I picked one of my friend as a partner, started my first venture. Right in 6 months, we failed miserably on the many grounds, and we were heartbroken. I went back to the job again into the industry. I started another venture in 2016, and with two partners this time, and fairly better situation, better grounds. But this time again, I was not able to achieve much. And in like 9 months or so, or 1 year, we were failed again, and we were facing a lot of problems, a lot of issues that we were not even kind of expecting at that first stage, at that first stage. So that was second failure. But after the second failure, I went and then started handling kind of CTO role or solution architect or technical project managers with a lot of startups from US remotely. So while I was sitting in Lahore in Pakistan, I was kind of connected or working for the people, for the startups from US, from Canada, from Europe. And that was the point when I was able to find the right opportunity to establish InvoZone eventually in 2019, the end of 2019, the start of 2020. So in the start of 2020, I started InvoZone, finally a third venture, solo, without any partner, without any investor, because this time I was picking the right pain point and I was able to make it a hit. And within 3 years, we were able to grow from 0 to 600 employees and kind of $1 million per month revenue. That's where right now we are. Despite the fact in the last 6 months, the market, IT market is kind of very shaky. Silicon Valley Bank crash is there. The kind of blockchain market went down. Investors are holding their investments, and all startups are struggling with the investment, but still InvoZone is thriving. We are able to sustain our business, though some of our clients, because we are in the service oriented business, we do offer services to our other startups or ventures for the software development area. So though some of our clients were kind of affected, but still we were able to sustain for some period of time, and now we are back on the track with the high paced growth. So that's kind of in a nutshell the whole story. There, I know there are many questions you were able to catch the pins in my story that they're gonna ask. So I will let you take the mic and go ahead for the further questions.
Sure. I'd like to throw one in. That's actually not on the list, if you don't mind. It's so you mentioned, kind of how you went through a number of failures, right? That you went through. What does now after so many years, right, of having this experience with these multiple kind of startups and retrying again, what does failure mean to you today?
Failure for me is kind of opportunity to learn. Again, we are talking about opportunities today. So it's just kind of you do something and you find out that, okay, this method or this approach or this kind of pattern does not work. So when you, let's say, fall for 99 times and you are able to make it success for the 100th time, it means you find out that 99 ways are not worth spending time, or they are not kind of right way to go. And there's only one approach that you are able to make a hit. So other than these three ventures that I spoke about, I did two other things as well in my life that was failure as well, that were not related to IT industry, by the way. They were related to some other businesses like a restaurant or a fuel station or whatnot. So I kind of not mentioned those two ventures that I tried other than information technology industry. So, but those were also some sort of learning for me. Those were not failure I can call, but I was not able to call them success either, because there is a definition of success, and it varies for everyone. The definition of success, but for me, they were not success. But I was able to get some acquisition for both of those businesses and get myself out of rid of them, and was able to focus onto InvoZone solely. So in my opinion, kind of failure is just equivalent to kind of lesson or something like that.
Yeah. And if you and one final question, just as you're mentioning that, being the leader that you are today, right? How do you think you've grown as a leader because of the failures that you went through before starting InfoZone?
Well, I guess it's just not only the failure that turned you into a leader. It's multiple things. Like there are multiple things that really are required to become the leader. You need to be very observant. Observation is something that makes you learn from others' mistakes as well. This is not something you have to make the mistake to learn something. So you have to be observant. You have to educate yourself. So sometimes you don't really need to see the mistakes. You actually need to see what works for others. So you have to educate, you have to explore, you have to kind of read books, read journals, read newspapers, watch podcasts, watch some maybe movies, business-related movies or whatnot, or series, and network with people, go attend some kind of conferences and see. So you need to actually kind of be very hungry about gaining the knowledge. And then that's exactly where you start pointing out, okay, what works, what does not. For X, it works because, okay, so sometimes we see that this pattern works for Kilani, but her situation is completely different, maybe. And if I apply the same scenario, same pattern, I may not be able to do the exact same execution because my situation is completely different. Some product is very much successful in, let's say, San Francisco, and that's not successful in Singapore because market is completely different. So market fit is also there. There are many things that you need to understand and learn to become a leader into the specific domain and specific industry. Again, you don't have to peep around into multiple things that I did, like restaurant or fueling station and then IT company. So I guess this is a diversion of focus. Sometimes people can make success out of it, but most of the time you cannot, because diversion of focus is a bad idea.
Oh, awesome. Wonderful.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing your story. And I really love that you highlight your failures as part of your journey to success. I've had conversations with a number of entrepreneurs recently, and almost everyone I've spoken to has said that they've completely failed at some business venture before they created a successful one. So I think it's such an important part of an entrepreneur's process. And I think it's great that you kind of highlighted that on your way to success. And the last time we spoke with you, and for our audience, Marcel and I had the privilege of speaking with meeting Furkan in person when we were in San Francisco in March. And you mentioned that you've always had a talent for spotting opportunity in places that most people don't. Where do you think that talent came from?
All right, so when I was kind of young, I was 13 years old, and I was kind of detracking from my studies, and my mother, during the summer vacations, my mother said that she realized that I'm kind of getting detracked from the studies, and I'm losing the interest, and I would not be able to get good grades or so and so forth, and reach go into the right direction in my life. So what she did, she just pushed me out from home during the summer vacation, and she said that go ahead and go find some job and do something and bring some money to in the end of the day. Otherwise, you won't get the food or something like that in the dinner. That was the point when I just ignored my mother, because I thought that like she's just like kind of kidding me or something like that. But in the evening, in the afternoon, I was not really offered with a dinner. And that was the point. I started taking her serious. Okay, she's not that, she's not that non-serious at this moment. The next day I went out and I started searching for some work, because in some countries, child labor is an abuse, and I guess it is everywhere. Child labor is an abuse, but I was underage, like 13 years old kid, and I was forced by my parents to do something during my summer vacations because I was just wasting my time. So there was something in the back of my mother's idea that why she is pushing me out to do something, because she knew that what exactly gonna be turned around. So I went out and started finding some job, and luckily I was able to find a bookshop, and he asked me to distribute the newspapers. It is like I was 13 years old kid. Right now I'm 30 years. So it's 17 years back. So one newspaper bookshop asked me to distribute the new newspaper in the early morning everywhere. And I had to pick that job because I have no choice. I have no option. So I just started distributing the newspapers. And while I was, forced to do this job, I started exploring what other options I do have, because this job is not something very amazing. This job is not something that kind of fits my personality, and I'm not liking this job. So what other options are there? So that's exactly like 13-year-old kid started exploring the opportunities or options, and wherever I go, I started thinking about, okay, is this an opportunity? Is that an opportunity? And if that is an opportunity, and like if I start doing something into this direction, will it be a successful business idea? Will it be a successful, is there any return over investment? Though I don't have any investment, but I'm going to spend my time maybe into this direction. So that's exactly the point where, so if the seed was kind of into my brain from the point when I was a kid, and after that, after like kind of doing that sort of job for 3 months or so, I compared the earning I was able to earn from these newspaper distribution job, this job, and I was able to kind of compare it with my imaginary life that I'm going to spend. I want to spend in my future. The money I was making out of this all kind of summer vacation thing, and the money I need to reach that point was a huge gap. So when you see a gap, when you are able to see that gap that I was not imagining before, and my mother pushed me out, and I was able to find that gap. And now when the gap is there, that's the point when you start understanding what the opportunity means, and that's where you start understanding from where. So the talent of gaining the opportunity or picking the opportunities, I guess, is not God gifted. That's my belief. Is somehow something that a life changing moment or something that happening in your life that makes you uh, kind of keep looking for the opportunities and whatnot. That's the point there. And other than that, when I was kind of trying to find a job, I realized that many people like me, many kids like me, or many youngsters like me, or young people in my country, in my region, they want to do something in their life, but they really don't have options. They don't have a lot of options, a lot of jobs, a lot of stuff for themselves. That later turned into my own venture as well. So I started, a company to give the opportunities, to give the jobs, to give the, kind of bread and butter for those people who really want to do something, but they are not able to find the job. That's why, like I was aiming to give 500, 600 people job at least minimum initially, but that was my whole life goal. But that I'm able to fulfill within the 3 years, and now I'm planning to touch the 5,000 point later in like next 3, 4, 5 years probably. So that's another point of time. So there are mix of two things that kind of pushed me into the direction where I'm right now.
And if I can summarize that, I think of what I'm hearing here is that, and where you're clearly different, I think, from a lot of other people is, other people get an opportunity like a job or something like that, and they go, okay, great, now I have a job. They might look at wanting a better life, right? They might want to look at, hey, this is, I'd love the life of a, serial entrepreneur, or, a certain amount of wealth or something like that. But there's in you, there's a difference. You're offered an opportunity. You take that opportunity, and then you ask yourself, is this opportunity going to get me to where I want to be? And if the answer is no, what you do is that inspires you. That drives you to say, all right, now I need to step up. Now I need to, kind of what is it that I need to do extra, right? Whether it's in activities, learning, seeking investments, whatever it is, to get to that point. As where I think most other people have a tendency to just kind of look there and kind of go, well, one day it would be nice if I got there, but they wouldn't necessarily kind of put that desire, right, that they have to get to a point into some form of action once they've received an opportunity, and that makes you
Absolutely.
rare, because oh, amazing. Yeah.
And if I can add,
Second thing was like, Yeah, go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
And secondary
Yeah.
thing was like I was looking at other people like me, and they really do want to do something, and they don't really have many opportunities. So that was something that I wanted to fix as well. And there is another thing that later in point in time when I said that I started New Zone, and it was based on the right opportunity as well. Previously, the first venture and the second venture, they were not backed by the right opportunity. They were supposed to be there is an opportunity, but they were not the right opportunity. So, but the third time I was able to, because when I started, let me quickly brief here as well. So when I started
Mhm.
working for US based startups as a CTO, as a C level person, I realized that these startups are struggling with the right talent to hire from the
Yeah.
industry. So they
Yeah.
were like even today, if I ask some CTO, are you happy with your talent? Are you happy with the capacity of your talent? They would definitely say no. I really need more engineers who are really capable to do something this and that or blah blah blah. So that is another
Mhm.
opportunity. That was the final opportunity I was able to locate in my life. That was based off InvoZone eventually.
Yeah. That's amazing. Yeah. Kilani, what's the next question?
Yeah, this kind of connects to something you said earlier, that being able to see opportunity isn't necessarily a God-given gift. And I think that that's such a great point, because we all have it in us to be able to see the opportunity that you've seen as well. And I'm curious, what signs do you pick up on or notice that kind of tells you, oh, there's opportunity here?
All right. So the point is like I agree with you there that this is something everyone has the capacity, everyone has the ability to kind of look or observe things, but like transforming the observation into an opportunity or kind of identifying if it is an opportunity or not is something that everyone need to polish. So it is something
Mhm.
that comes with either you need to learn something, educate about something, or if you have a hunger to do something, only then you start seeing the opportunities. So
Mm.
even for example, would like to relate it with an example. If you are not hungry, maybe delicious food would not attract you that much. And if you are very hungry, a very average food may attract you very well, and it may sound very tasty to your taste buds as well. That's how the opportunity kind of relates to our life, that if you are hungry about something, if you really want to do something in your life, or you want to upgrade yourself or go to a point where you're imagining to go somewhere sometime in future, that's the only way you start looking at the opportunities, and they start making more sense. And sometimes you are settled in your life, if you are okay, if your things are running here and there in your life and you're okay kind of, so you may start missing those opportunities when they are really an opportunity as well.
Mm.
That's my belief.
Yeah, and that's and thank you for sharing that, because I think you're highlighting a very important point, right? Is that in order for us to be able to see opportunity, we need to be able to see, and somehow along the line, starting at as a 13-year-old kid, you've developed this ability to observe the world in a certain way, right? Where
Absolutely.
you see gaps, right? Where other people don't see those gaps, and I mean, that's extremely unique. And most other people don't observe their world as a kind of a as an ocean of opportunities, right?
Yeah.
They often just observe the world, and there's a world they exist in, and they just go to work and they do. The amount of times that Keelani and I as coaches have conversations with people who say, I don't have any opportunities, right? And here you are, 13-year-old kid in Pakistan delivering newspapers, who sees opportunity everywhere. And I think
Yep.
I think the key marker for feeding that is hunger, right? Because how hungry are you? And I think if we can all be we can be really well fed and still be hungry, right? There's still, because
Yep.
being hungry is a metaphor for wanting something bigger in our lives, and there I think there are a lot of people who want to be hungry but may not necessarily know what it means to be hungry, right? And through that lack of hunger, might not be seeing the same opportunities that you're seeing, but you're approaching this because you know what it's like to be hungry, and
Yep.
you're still approaching life, even though that today you're very well fed, you're still approaching your life with that degree of hunger, right? Which is still allowing you to observe your world as this ocean of opportunity. That's powerful. Yeah, thank you for sharing it. That was very cool. Yeah.
And if I can say too, I noticed when Marcel said, when we talk to people and they say, oh, there's no opportunity for me here, I noticed there was an eyebrow raise from you over there, Furkan. What kind of went off for you when he said that?
Well, I was able to relate with many people I used to meet, and they complaining kind of same, because I was kind of relate that with my experiences happening here and there. And when I'm clearly seeing something, some opportunity and some place to opportunity is not something doing new. It's sometimes opportunity to improve, opportunity to optimize the existing business model, or existing system, or existing, maybe I don't know, whatever you are doing. So optimization is another opportunity that you can, cutting down the cost, increasing the revenue, or increasing the profits, or making the things easier for you, automating the businesses, sparing more time from there are many things that can be called as an opportunity. So whenever I meet people, they not necessarily need to start a new business. They sometimes need to optimize their existing business. They really feel like, oh, I cannot, I guess I don't find a way to offload a workload from my head because I am too expensive into this thing or this responsibility and whatnot. But they're not really seeing the opportunities to optimize their business at all. So, or optimize something. So opportunity is something that maybe you need to know the meaning of opportunity itself. Need to, as Marcel said, you need to know the meaning of hunger or greed or whatnot. So otherwise, you definitely not going to relate it. Unknowns would stay unknowns for you all for forever.
Yeah, and it's almost like you're saying, and I agree with that. Right, is that everything is an opportunity, and it's just permitting whether or not we see it that way. Pain is an opportunity. When you're when you're in that pain of being too busy, right? And how many of us live life saying to ourselves, I don't have time? That's an opportunity, right? That's an opportunity. That's the universe telling you, here's an opportunity for you to learn how to do things differently, permitting you take the opportunity. Yeah. And so it's almost like a mindset, isn't it? It's like and in ontology we call it a mood, right? It's just a way that you wake up every single day, and you could say, can I see every interaction, every thought, every emotion that I have as an opportunity to learn and grow and to change, right? And because I also think that change is one of the greatest outcomes that we can see from following an opportunity, and unfortunately, of course, too many businesses and too many people are afraid of change, and I think that's that fear of what might happen if I chase this opportunity. Tends to be a very restricting one. So yeah, absolutely. It is really just kind of how do you wake up in the morning, and are you willing to see your pain as an opportunity for change? Yeah, wonderful.
Yep.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
I think another great strength you have too is that you're able to both see opportunity and actually fulfill it. Hence the name of this live stream, which is something that very few people are actually able to accomplish. How are you able to do both?
So it's very rare thing to connect the opportunity with the fulfillment, or kind of achieving what exactly you are dreaming for. Not everyone can, because there are kind of three categories of people according to my opinion. One is who see the opportunity, or who know their pain point, but they keep complaining about it. They don't really want to take some action or some step or something like that. That's one category. Most of people fit into that category, I believe, because whenever I see someone and meet someone, they're just complaining about their shortage of time, their busy schedule. They could not reply my WhatsApp about not because they were very busy somewhere, blah blah blah. But they're complaining about their busy schedule. They're complaining about their pain points, but they are not ready to take something out of their the opportunity they're seeing. They don't want to work onto that area. And the component is they're not even aware of their pain points. Like they're just like kind of running into a robotic life. They're going to the job in the morning, spending all day over whatever they're doing, and coming back in the evening. They're not even aware of the pain points. And there's this third category which we are trying to talk about. They see the pain point, they understand how to resolve it, and they kind of take the action to reach there, or kind of resolve that point, or optimize, or whatever is the opportunity, to turn the opportunity into the reality. That's something not everyone has the capacity of, because to start with something you have to start, to reach there to you have to start. So the first two categories that I mentioned about, they don't really take the first step. They don't really, even if sometimes they take the step, they really fall or they fail. They just stop it, and then they go back to their comfort zone once again. So many people talk about the comfort zone, many people talk about the failures and taking the step. And if you are not able to achieve from your first step, try again and try again and again. Eventually you would be able to reach there, something like that. So even in my case, it happened the same. It's not very different story from others, but it resonated to few people who were failing, trying, and eventually they were able to reach there. That's something, the courage. That's something, the belief. That do you think that okay, no problem. I did it first time. I did a lot of mistakes. Second time, I did mistakes, but the kind of frequency or the strength of the mistakes were relatively smaller than the previous experience. And the third time, I would again do the mistakes, but this time would be making much smaller mistakes as compared to the second time or the first time. I kind of, whenever you do something, for example, if you start riding bicycle, the very first time you might fall. So it would hurt you probably. And the second time you maybe would do a better job, but still with the shaky hands and whatnot. And the third time you would be much better. And slowly, one day you might be doing one wheeling or something like that with the same bicycle, because eventually it made you aware that what works, what does not work, and eventually you are able to ride the same bicycle in a very perfect way. So for me, how did it work is exactly like failing and trying, trial and error, trial and retry, and something like that. That pattern worked for me very well. I tried, failed, and third time I was able to kind of do it much better way, and then reaching the point where. So that's how it is. And in other words, if I talk about some other areas when I was trying to do things in a way, so I was quite focused on my vision, what exactly I'm trying to do, and what I'm exactly want to uh, do with the opportunity I do have. And also at the same time, I was kind of keeping all the realities in my mind as well. So sometimes the opportunity is there, but we don't really evaluate the realities or ground scenarios or ground situations, which really kind of disconnect our opportunity. Or just as I said earlier, that a market is not ready for something. The ground reality is that you cannot deploy that product, or cannot introduce that product into that market specifically, because market is not ready. So the ground reality is saying that this market is not ready. Maybe some other market is for this kind of product, or this kind of idea, this kind of opportunity. So you cannot misfit an opportunity to a different market, or different scenario, or different situation, or different maybe age group or whatnot. So and then again, sometimes you really need to revise your goals as well, or revise the way you want to take things forward as well. So for example, with InvoZone, the way I started in the end of 2019, the passion was different, the ideas were different, the execution path I designed, or roadmap I designed was completely different. But with the passage of time, I kept learning, I kept understanding, okay, things are not that way where I wanted to go. So I had to retweak or reiterate my plans, my roadmaps to kind of. So, and in my opinion, the third thing that I am mentioning here is to uh, keep learning when you're doing something, and keep reiterating or revisiting your roadmap to reach the goal or reach the point where you want to. The goal is turning your opportunity that you have in hand into the reality. That's the goal in our situation. So you need to revisit your kind of roadmap frequently, and then something that you have to. And the last thing, in my opinion, I guess, strengthening up the processes and procedures for something that you want to do. So you cannot do anything randomly. So opportunity is there. You want to meet that opportunity. But in my opinion, if you can kind of make things process oriented, that or the roadmap we're talking about, if you can turn that roadmap into kind of smaller processes, eventually you can reach that point. So for example, we spoke about busy schedule. A person is very busy and he's not ready to take some time to optimize their processes. Maybe he really need to introduce some process into the pipeline that spare a lot of his time. Maybe a delegation or something may spare some time. So these 3-4 things, I guess, are kind of my areas where I could work on to convert the opportunity to the reality.
That's really cool, and I really like that it keeps coming back to the trial and error, the failure to success pipeline. I think a lot of people, when they try something new and embark on something new, they fail once and then they're like, oh, this isn't for me, it didn't work. And what I think a lot of people don't realize is that all success comes from just multiple failures in a row, and it's just getting up one more time, then you've been knocked down.
Yeah, and it's almost, yeah, and I would almost add to that. I think for any aspiring entrepreneur, right, is understand that when you're going to start your first business, in all likelihood, you're going to fail, and you're supposed to. And I think that is a conversation that we don't have enough, right? Is that you're supposed to be failing, because your failures are going to lead to your success. They're opportunities for success, and but they're only going to be that way if you're willing to fail, right? And you're willing to have that relationship with that failure in a way that it is an opportunity. And as I'm hearing you, Furkan, I'm even thinking about my own life. There have been ventures that I started, in the past that I deemed failures, but actually didn't see as an opportunity to try again, or to go again, or to do it again. So, thank you for sharing that. That's even very enlightening for me. As I'm kind of getting on with age, I'm learning every day too. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, it's a great reminder for all of us, for sure. And as I see we're heading towards the end of our call here, I just want to give Furkan the opportunity to share a little bit more about your company and what you do, and maybe where people can connect with you and your company as well.
Yeah, sure. You already mentioned InvoZone, InvoBlocks, and InvoGames. These are 3 verticals under InvoZone itself. And we are a software development service provider, working with ventures, mid-sized ventures, large enterprises, and startups in the tech space, where specifically our ideal, kind of partners are kind of customers are when they really want to do something in the IT industry, or they do have some idea or something that really want to develop, or kind of make a software out of it, or you already have something that is used to automate your internal processes, a back office or admin panel or something like that. So, or something very crazy in the gaming industry, maybe probably you want to develop a new video game that you want to introduce for the market or something like that. There are a lot of potentials in the blockchain space as well at the same time. So we have 3 verticals: InvoGames handling all the metaverse, mobile game, web game, or PC or console-based games. And there is a InvoBlocks that handles all the blockchain-related projects, and there is InvoZone that handles AI, web, and mobile-related projects. So whenever someone needs to get developed, we are here. We actually have 2 type of business models. One is resource augmentation, and the other one is kind of product oriented product development or something like that. So these two models that we do offer, we can be reached at kind of sales@invozone.com email, or if you go invozone.com website, you would find a contact us page or a chatbot, AI-based chatbot that we developed in house, by the way. So you can chat with our chatbot to speak to the chatbot, and maybe you can get your business problem solved by that AI-based chatbot as well without needing us. Or maybe you need a human effort, so you can kind of simply fill the contact us page and we can contact you further.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And for our viewers, I just put Invozone's website in the comments. So if you want to find out more, head over to the website. And as Furkan mentioned, go to the Contact Us page or talk to a bot, and they'll be able to help you out. All right. That's all from me. Is there anything else that you wanted to bring in here?
For me, I just want to say, thank you so much, Furkan, for joining. And it was such an interesting meeting that we had. We got to meet when we were all in San Francisco. We were all visiting, and we just got to have coffee together. And just having coffee with you for that one session, I learned very quickly how much you have to offer this world, and that you are nowhere near finished with your dream and your seeking opportunity, that you have so much more to give this earth and to give this world. And I just want to wish you all the success that you deserve, and really hope that one day we'll be able to support you in whatever it is that you're doing, and vice versa too. And because I really love your mission of kind of like providing people with opportunities and jobs, and you're on an amazing journey for yourself. So good luck with that, and of course keep inspiring, because you're doing amazing stuff.
Thank you so very much, Marcel, for having me over the coffee as well as for this podcast. It is really a learning experience. It was a learning experience over there as well, and it's a learning experience over this podcast too. So it's always, I learn something new whenever I meet you guys. Trust me. And that helped me in future somewhere. So the discussion we had last time, it quite really helped me later when I was sitting and trying to optimize some areas. The discussion we had at that moment was really helpful for me. And
Awesome.
Probably the things we discuss in this meeting or in this kind of podcast would be helping ourselves, other than our kind of listeners too.
Yeah, no, I agree. And that's the importance too of just, kind of networking and having conversations. Like, this would never have happened if we hadn't just met for coffee, just for no reason whatsoever, right? Just get to know each other. And it's amazing, what sometimes, maybe that's another learning lesson is, the importance of just, connecting with people, that we would otherwise never connect with in this world. Yeah. And, and amazing stories that we then get to hear, and the things that we get to learn. So thank you for joining us today, and that's pretty much it for me as well. If we don't have anything to add, then we're going to close the broadcast today. So thank you, everyone. Kilani, did you have any last parting words, or are we good?
No, I just wanted to say thank you as well. This was a really great conversation, and I love that this was very focused as well on inspiring our audience and helping everyone else who may be either on a similar journey or just know that there's something more out there for them that they want to pursue or find. I think it's really cool to be able to share this message and to reiterate especially the failure to success story, because I know that's a conversation I have with a lot of my coaching clients. So it's great that that's broadcast out there, and thank you for taking the time to share about you and your experience.
Awesome.
Thank you so very much. Likewise, it was amazing experience with you guys once again.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much. Thank you also to the audience. We had a lot of people coming in with comments. Thank you for those comments. And of course, if you have any other questions or anything like that, you can either always go to just the broadcast, either on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on Facebook, and just make a comment. We will receive those comments, and of course we'll pass them on to Furkan if there's a question for him. And stay in touch, and we will always try to help anybody out. And of course, if you also have anyone that you would like to see as a guest, or have any ideas yourself, or a life story that you would like to share and you would like us to celebrate with you, feel free to let us know, and we can always have a conversation about that too. Well, thank you everybody for joining, and we will see you in the next broadcast next week. See you. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye.